welcome back to my channel, Deidre Morgan. I am a licensed clinical social worker associate, and I am coming to you guys today to talk to you about some lessons, things that I learned while working in the classroom. I got my notes here with me today, so if you see me look down, that's why I had to make a quick note of things, because it's a lot I learned, y'all. So a little bit about my background really quickly. I used to be a IA. I started out as an IA working in the public school system with the pre-K classroom. So a lot of the children had disabilities. They either had learning delays, or they were hearing impaired or visually impaired, and so it was a mixture inside the classroom that I work with. Then I moved on to be the lead teacher in a Head Start classroom where I had 3 to 5 year olds, and I also had inclusion classroom. So that first year, 9 of my children had disabilities, the other 9 did not. And then the second year, I started out with 9 children again with disabilities, and by the time my children left, I had identified, I think, an additional 4 or 5 kids. So I have a lot of experience, and I've worked as a intervention specialist with the CDSA, and just kind of moved around and through up the ranks. So now I'm a licensed clinical social worker associate, so I go into the classrooms to work directly with the children. But and then over the years too, younger years, I worked as a camp counselor. I also was an after school teacher for first grade classroom, and so I again started out very young working with children. More at 4 also was another classroom I worked in. So I've learned a lot of things. First things first that I have learned is behavior is communication, right? I say this all the time. I've said this in tons of my other videos. Children who show behavior that is like less than desirable, they are communicating some type of thing. Some need of theirs is not being met. Every no, every stomp, every eye roll, every arm cross, every scream, every throwing of items across the room is that child telling us that there was a need that was not met, or that there's something that they want to communicate with you, but they just don't know how. So that's why it's important to label that language for them, or to use that language with them. I feel upset because, or I want to continue playing, so I decided to hide the toy. Like, give them that language, talk them through these things, because they're communicating something. Next thing is that the classroom in the early years is all about socialization. Everybody wants to drive ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, reading, which all of those things are great if your child can do those in the early years. But technically, it's not 100, depending upon the age, it's not 100% age appropriate, especially if your child can do all these things, but they have no social skills. That's what the early years are for: building social skills, taking turns, holding conversations, answering and asking questions, initiating conversations and play with other friends, learning to be a good friend, sharing with one another. It's about being able to tell people how you feel, building upon, on that stepping stone of labeling emotions. Move to the next step. You're upset, so you can now say, I feel upset. And so it's not all about just, can my child perform these things, but it's, can my child hold a simple conversation with another human being? Or, can they follow instructions given to them by authority? Because these are things that children are going to use as they enter into the school age, as they enter kindergarten and middle school and high school. All that builds upon that. I cannot tell you how many times I have watched videos on Instagram and Twitter, TikTok, of kids who are in high school throwing desks and fighting each other and all these things. And I say to myself, if they only had those skills of how to regulate their emotions in their younger years, they would not have been at this point. If they had someone to help talk them through, these are the tools and things that you do when your emotions become overwhelming. This is what you do. This is how you keep yourself from, in situations that are unfortunate. So I love to see that, or say that, building those foundational skills in the early years are important. So don't take meltdowns and, eye rolls and all that stuff personal. Just know that they're building those social skills. Next is that routines are powerful. I preach this all the time. Routines. Put your kids on routines, because that's going to help. If you're a teacher in the classroom, it's going to make your classroom run like a well-oiled machine. Are things going to be perfect? No. But after a while, children are going to be telling you what is supposed to be happening next when you forget as a teacher. I never forget running around in the classroom, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, oh my gosh, what are we doing next? And my student, her name was Zoe. I love Zoe. I still keep in contact with Zoe to this day. Zoe goes, Miss Deidre, we're supposed to be cleaning up because it's time for lunch. And I'm like, you're right. How did I forget that? But when I'm so engrossed in the work that I'm doing with my small groups, and it's like, I had a brain freeze. And you know how you just talk out loud? Well, Zoe heard me that day, and Zoe was like, it's time to clean up class. So I'm telling you, routines, picture schedules, visual charts, get them going so that on a daily they know what to do. And I'm just telling y'all, it works. Trust me. Next is that parents are partners. They are not outsiders, okay? Parents are partners. They are not outsiders. So that means communicate. If something is different with a child, my number one thing is to ask the parents, hey, is there anything new happening at home? Tell me what's going on. Did anything new happen this morning? Was there something new in the routine? Because little Johnny had a really hard time, laying down today. Did he go to sleep last night? Did he get an extra nap? Did he sleep later in the morning? I'm asking all the questions. If something's different, if something's changed, if something good. And that's the thing too. Don't always talk about the negative. Talk about the positive. No parent wants to only hear when their child is throwing blocks at their friend's head. Every day I find something. I used to write down something for each child on my attendance sheet. I would kind of jot down on the side, okay, this child did this today. Oh, they shared with so-and-so. Oh, they were able to, label this for me today. They were good helpers. Something good every single day. So when that parent comes to pick that child up, that parent can feel good. That parent can know that their child is doing something positive. And it just feels good. It makes not only the parent and the child, it makes them both feel really good. Next thing I have learned is don't talk about, so this is a bonus one, don't talk about the children in front of them. If you have something that you want to discuss with the parent, discuss it outside, send an email, send a note, call, any of these things, but don't talk about them in front of the child. The child, that is it's a really sensitive matter, and a lot of times, you don't want kids to feel beat down. You don't want them to feel like, I can't ever get anything right, and sometimes that increases the behavior because they know that it's an issue with you. Sometimes kids you can get those kids that just love to beat on that nerve, and so that they know that you don't like that, then it can cause them to continue that behavior, but mostly just because you want to get in the habit of uplifting that child and not bringing them down. Next is get to know the culture of the families or the children in your classroom. I'm going to tell y'all this quick story how I thought that a child might have had a delay of some sort. He already did have so he was a Spanish from a Spanish speaking family. So automatically, a lot of times, I won't say automatically, but a lot of my kids that were Spanish speaking families were also children who had delays. And so I was thinking there was maybe something else going on other than the language delay or the language barrier. And I didn't think deep enough into the language barrier or into the customs. So a child, every day at lunch, we do the same thing over and over again. They clean up. They know they don't have to ask me. I usually, when they're done, they go to the trash can themselves, or I'll let them know, hey, lunch is over. Everybody, it's time to clean up, and they'll do it. Well, I had this one student, and he was the sweetest child, but he would just sit there, and it's like we would have to call his name and say, hey, pick up your plate and take it to the garbage. So we have to do home visits. We had to do home visits, and that's why home visits are pretty powerful too, because I went to the home visit, and while they were there, they were eating, and mom dismissed him, like calls his name, like dismisses him from the table. He doesn't get up unless unless they dismiss him. They call his name and tell him he can go. And it clicked with me, like, this is why. And so I asked mom, hey, is this every day, all the time, anytime, there's a meal involved or anything? And it's just part of their home culture. She said, yes, he doesn't leave the table unless he is excused. So I started doing that and realized that so I was like, okay, so it's not, nothing deeper that I need to look into. It's just, he needs to be excused. So now and instead of telling him, hey, just clean up when you're done, I accommodated what it was that he's used to. And so I just call his name. Me and my co-teacher, we would just, all right, call his names. And he immediately would just get up and run so happily to the trash and throw his things away. So getting to know the culture and getting to know the things that are expected of the children in the family is important. So that's why home visits are really imperative, especially in the younger years. Next is, you might be the only hug, the only handheld holding, the only I love you that children, especially in the younger years, that children get. I worked working in early Head Start. A lot of our children, our families come from low income backgrounds, and that's not to say that families who are on the lower side of the socioeconomic status don't show affection or love, but a lot of times it's, mom and dad might not be home, so they might be left with siblings because mom and dad might be working. We don't know. It might be that they're homeless. Like it's so many different scenarios and situations. I have had children who they don't know who's bringing them to school. It's, it's a friend, a family friend, or it's this person or that person. And so it's just so important. I used to treat every child like I was the only person that was giving them love, and I was the only person that was, wanting to hold their hand when we walk outside. And I get so many, Miss Deidre, I love you, or so many, oh, you're the best, can I have a hug? And my kids know that they can always, no matter what, they can always come give me a hug, or they'll come and sit with me or sit on my lap. Like, it's because they feel safe. They feel like they belong. And that's always been the goal, and that's always been my goal in my classroom, is to make sure that every child felt like they belonged with me, that, hey, I'm your teacher, you're my child, you're my student. I used to tell people all the time, I have 18 kids, because that's the environment that I wanted to create for our home family, or our school family. So next is parents have their own issues. So remember that parents go through their own things. They have their own daily issues that they deal with. They're trying to provide for their whole family. They have needs. They have mental health disorders and conditions that they are working through, and some of them don't even know that they have them. So I always try to give grace to those parents. Give grace, give grace, give grace, because if you are a believer, teaching is a ministry. It's not just you wake up, you go to school every day. I try to keep in mind that it's a ministry. It's something that God loves children. He sees them in a particular light. And so, and he refers to them often as, you can tell he has a special love for them. And so I keep in mind every day that I step into a classroom is a day that I am there to serve a family, to serve a child. I am there to minister to them through love and through compassion and through teaching. So I encourage you all to look at it as giving grace, and it's a ministry. It's something that you've been chosen to do, and it's such a special job. I love the classroom. Next is instead of, when you have children who have challenging behaviors, ask yourself what happened to this child, not what is wrong. I hear it all the time. What is wrong with this child? This child, the teachers, Miss Deidre, something is not right. And it's like, well, wait a minute, take a step back. let's look at what happened to them. They came in struggling this morning. Did something at home happen first before they got to us? Did mom have a rough start to the morning, which caused the child to have a rough start? Did the child have a rough start because they just woke up on the wrong side of the bed, which caused the parent to also now be in a frenzy or have an attitude or whatever? So let's think about this. Like, is it that they've been through trauma and they don't know who they can trust, so they treat everyone like they can't trust them? Just looking a little bit deeper into what happened, what has happened, what is happening, because trauma can be lasting, so it's still evident in their system. And lastly is that transitions are tough, but they are teachable. Transitions are tough, but they're teachable. Sing a song, do a dance, have them walk like a dinosaur, walk like an elephant, hop like a rabbit. Transition. You're just going from one place to the next. And even in real life as an adult, transitions are tough. But we can teach ourselves, how can I adapt to this situation that can make things easier for me? So it's important to know and remember that children are humans. They're just tiny humans, and they have feelings, they have hearts, they have minds that wonder, they have minds that just need to be enriched and stimulated. And it is your job. You have the best job, because teachers make all other professions possible. So it's like, and especially the early years, I get so much joy working with the younger kids, because it's like, wow, I get to mold this slate. I get to enrich this mind. I get to pour all the knowledge that I know into this child and be that foundation. And I want to build the most stable foundation possible. So if this video hit home, resonates with you, if it's something you just enjoyed listening to, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that little bell so you know when I'm posting. And I'm gonna also put some resources in the description section as well that could help for you as a teacher. Teachers, don't forget to ground yourselves too in the morning. Say a word of affirmation or a word of prayer before you go into those classrooms to set up your day for success. Until next time, you guys, be happy, be healthy, be whole. Talk to you soon. Love you. Bye.